You are very spiritual as well, and you're also a Reiki practitioner.
I am. So yeah, I think spirituality started when I was in high school. It was my endeavor sort of to do well in school that sort of took me towards mindset and brain practices and memory practices, and sort of one thing led to the next. And so there was this technique I came across when I was in high school. I think I must have been in 10th grade, and it was I can't remember the exact name, but essentially what it was if you wanted to retain information, have the information played back to you with Baroque music. So by that
With
I
rock
meant,
music?
yeah, so Baroque. So
Baroque
like
music.
Vivaldi, a little bit of Bach, have that played back because the music from the Baroque period was at a particular beats per minute. So having that music played back and your notes played back increased retention. So that's what I used to do in high school. We had a dictaphone, and I dictate my notes into the dictaphone and have Vivaldi playing in the back, and I just sort of lie there, and I just end up falling asleep. I didn't remember anything, but that's
You
how
didn't
I
remember anything?
No, I don't think I ever did, because my results didn't change. But one thing sort of led to the next.
So I was going to just cue in and say that anybody who wants to learn and like
maybe I did something wrong, but it's a great technique. I wish I remember the name. We'll look it up.
Okay.
But yeah, then meditation was introduced to me, and so it sort of started. That's where it started.
I mean, I got introduced to meditation about 3 years ago. And
Really,
I think I started, like 3.5 years ago, I want to say, like in 2019, the summer of 2019. And I started building my practice from like 3 minutes. And now I can sit for an hour.
So before that, you didn't?
Nothing.
Really?
Nothing at all. Like my journey into meditation and mindfulness and coming into your own self started, well, yeah, 3.5 years ago in 2019, actually.
Wow.
And then I think COVID propelled it. Yeah. COVID propelled it because I went into a 72-hour meditative silence, and now I do theta healing. So what kind of healing do you practice?
So I do a lot of, I deal with a lot of energetics. By that I mean acknowledging that you're a vibration.
Yeah.
And so that's where it has to start from. Yeah. And that you're a soul first. Yeah. That has come into this world, into this body, in this uniform. And so we tend to forget that we're a soul. And we tend to deal with the body a lot and talk about the body a lot and get into fitness and wanting to lose weight, but it's got to start before that. And so hypnotherapy, energetics, Reiki. So there's a whole lot of modalities that I use to sort of essentially work with where you are vibrationally, and then sort of get you up a little bit, sort of bit by bit by bit.
Yeah. I mean, this is the reason I wanted to have this conversation, because I'm on this path myself, like of, elevating the vibrational energy and kind of become like, from particle to wave.
Yeah.
So that's where like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, from matter to energy, particle to wave.
Absolutely.
So that kind of like, and I think that the first time you actually feel energy coursing through your body, I think it was just like, I think it also scared me a little bit, because you're not used to it, right?
Really?
The very first time it happened, I was like, wait, what's this?
Yeah.
And I kind of came out of my meditation. And then like the next time I was like, okay, no, I'm going to sit through it. I'm going to let it. And like literally like tremors went through my body, and like,
wow,
like actual
profound.
tremors. Yeah, it was actually like, and then it started happening a lot more. Like anytime I would meditate, it was like my body would start shaking, like literally quite physically shaking. And I would feel the tremors inside, but I was like, closed eyes, and like,
wow.
And like my mom was one day sitting with me, and I was doing this in the car, like I was going to Islamabad, and so I would feel like the first tremors that started coming were in my stomach area, like in the solar plexus, so they started vibrating. So I could feel it. I didn't know it was physically visible, so I didn't even tell my mom. My mom was sitting in the car with me, so I said, okay, Mama, I'm going to do like, so I did like a 60-minute, like an hour meditation.
This is a dispenser meditation, or?
This was a dispenser, yeah. So anyways, I was doing it, and I came out of it, and my mom was like, oh, your body was like, your stomach was like vibrating. What was that? And I'm like, oh, you could see that? And she's like, yeah. And this was like right at the very beginning of when it started. And now I think I'm at that place where it's just kind of coming into oneness, into...
Well, it's whatever stored,
trauma.
Emotional shocks, then they're just releasing. Now they're getting a moment to themselves, and they go, we get the limelight, and we're allowed to express ourselves. And it's great that you're shaking, and it's how we release trauma.